Mr. Foligno, are you there?
I am.
Hey, it was great watching the game with you last night. It was great to see and catch up. What'd you think of the game? We didn't get to see the whole game together, but curious to know your overall thoughts on the Sabres' first win last night.
Well, I thought they played very well. It was an exciting game to watch, especially the first one. And you get that first one under the belt. It gives you a lot of self-confidence and team confidence. But I thought that they really skated well. They seemed to have so much speed in that lineup last night, and their puck movement was very strong.
What are your thoughts on Ralph Kruger? I know you've had a chance to meet him. I know he addressed the alumni as well at the alumni golf outing. Just curious to know your thoughts if you've had any interactions with him.
Well, Andrew and Craig, you guys know that there's certain people in your lifetime that you meet that just have an incredible impression, leave you with an incredible impression of them, and make you feel good about yourself. And I think that's one of the things that I first noticed in my meeting with Ralph was that he met with the alumni early in the morning. I don't think we even thought that he was going to be there to address all of us. But as you know, the alumni in the Buffalo area is very strong, very community-oriented, very involved with the team. And I think one of the biggest things is that a lot of the alumni that are here locally, players that have been very proud to play for the Buffalo Sabres, really care about the team as you all do. And for him to come in that morning and make all the alumni players, former Sabres players, really feel included in what he was bringing to the team. And I think that feeling of inclusion is what is bringing this team together. And you can sense it from the things that he said and how he said them and his presence. And I think that that's a great start for this young team and getting their collective minds together to think as one and to play as one. And we saw a great example of it last night. And if they can do it once, they can do it again.
Well, yeah, that's. Sorry, Riv, were you gonna?
I was just gonna ask. Like watching the game last night. Obviously, going into Pittsburgh, it's an extremely tough building to play in. Sabres have not had a whole lot of success in that building. If you were to pinpoint one thing that you felt like the Sabres did extremely well, better than what you've seen in the past, what would that be?
Well, I think number one is no one cared who scored. It was everybody playing for each other. And some of the playmaking that they did, the passing plays that they executed, everything's going to be in tight areas. Everything's going to be no time, no space, and you've got to learn to play in those tight areas. And I thought last night they went into those areas and they dominated. I thought that defensively, Carter Hutton did a great job. I think he wanted to have that first shot, the first goal back. But beyond that, he played very, very well. And, they didn't give them time to move in their defensive zone. So I really like the way that they took time and space away from Pittsburgh, but I love the way that they utilized the real tight areas in the offensive zone to make plays happen, because that's what the game's all about right now.
Right now, joining us on the line, Mike Foligno, former Sabres captain, longtime NHLer. I type in, because I wanted to see your exact stats, and I type in Foligno and Hockey DB, and only 3 names show up: Marcus, Mike, and Nick, and they all have NHL logos beside them. not a bad little stint for all the Foligno boys. You got to be super proud. I mean, you have 2 boys playing in the NHL, and I mean, you played a long time yourself. That must just be unbelievable for a father.
Well, it is exciting. Sometimes, it's almost surreal, but, I love the fact that, you give your kids, whether it's, the 2 boys or my other 2 girls, you give them all an opportunity to grow and feel confident and feel loved. And then you're pretty proud of them when one day they realize an opportunity to realize their dream. And for Nick and Marcus, it was a dream of playing in the NHL, and they got that opportunity. And, God keep them healthy so that they can enjoy it for a long time and give the fans and their teams the best of themselves and enjoy a livelihood with it, because really that's what it is. And it's a form of a livelihood, but also you get a chance to enjoy your passion. And you know, for my girls, we feel the same way. I have two girls that are older than the two boys, and we feel, you know, just as proud of them as well.
You played a very long time here for the Sabres, a vast majority of your career. What are some of your greatest moments? Is it the awful helmet that you wore? Is it the Foligno leap? I mean, you're known for a lot of things. Your play on the ice, a captain, terrible bucket that you'd only get ripped for in the locker room today, and jumping around after a goal.
Well, you know what? People can say whatever they want about my helmet, but I never got a concussion, so I'm good. I'll keep my helmet no matter what.
Well,
that's called it's called the knuckle buster. You keep that thing on, you're going to be fine for sure.
That's right.
When did you in your first when you scored your first goal in the NHL, was that the first time you did the Foligno jump?
Actually, I did it for a few big goals in junior hockey, and it's just something that kind of stayed with me. I never did it to knock down the other team. I did it because it's a form of jubilation. Everyone shows, you know, their excitement a certain way, and all of a sudden I started to do that, and that became almost my you know, little celebratory dance that I did. And you know what? I wouldn't change it today if I had the opportunity again. I probably would have done the same thing, because I'm not going to let what other people say change the way I'm going to celebrate a goal. You know, it's a form of jubilation, and everyone, you know, kind of got out of my way for the first few seconds after I scored a goal.
That's awesome. You know what? The one I remember, you had the big one against Detroit playing for the Leafs, didn't you?
Yeah, that was a few years back for sure. And, that was an exciting time. But, you know, with the Sabres, I think that, you know, you talk about coming here at a difficult time, and, you know, playing when I first came here, one of my childhood heroes, and I mimicked playing, you know, like him when I was a young man, was Gilbert Perreault. And to come to Buffalo and play with my, you know, childhood idol was a dream come true. And he lived up to everything that I've seen of him and heard of him. And a true gentleman and a true leader. And then, you know, over the years, getting to know the other players on the team and spending some great time with those guys and seeing their commitment as well. It just brought out the best in me as well. And I thought that, you know, Scotty Bowman did a great job of that too, utilizing us in a certain way that would bring out the best in us as a player. So, you know, overall, there was a lot of great things that happened in this community. And, you know, all my 4 children were born in Buffalo. So there was a lot of great moments in my tenure here for sure.
Oh, I mean, the one thing I have to imagine, and I get chills thinking about it, and, you know, is the Buffalo Aud. I don't think people understand the energy. Number one, I went there as a young kid. It was my first NHL game to see, you know, back when I was a kid. But that arena, I mean, the arenas now, they're not the same as they used to be. But does that arena hold a certain amount of nostalgia for you in your career? Because every player that rolls through here that played in that arena, whether it was for or against the Sabres, they always remember the Aud.
Well, I think there's 2 reasons. Number one, we had a team that was a good, physical, fast team, and so you didn't have any time and space. And the Aud was just a little bit smaller, and it felt like a little bit tighter because the fans were so close to you. And I think that it was a very intimidating place to play for the opponent, and we knew that coming in. We knew that, you know, that night was going to be tough. So if we can get on the opponent, especially early in the game, and we always came out, you know, banging and crashing and driving the net and trying to get that lead. That was a real big focus for us in those days. And I think that once we did that, we kind of, you know, took the edge off the other team, and you know, I think their confidence dropped a little bit, and ours kept steamrolling. So I think that was one of the things that generated a lot of energy in that building. The crowd, they're being so close to us. And, you know, every time we'd score 2 or 3 goals, they'd be chanting 1, 2, 3, we want 4. And boom, all of a sudden we give them 4, and then the chant would continue on and on. So it was a high-energy place. It was really a lot of fun to play there.
Let me just ask you, but we only have a couple more minutes with you here. Greatest Sabre moment for you as a player here?
I think it was just, you know, there's so many, great moments and special times that we had here. But I think one of the most memorable one it's funny, it's my special moment, but it wasn't for me. It was for Gilbert Perreault when he scored his 500th goal, and he broke a record that Jean Beliveau had. It meant a lot to the team. It meant a lot to Gilbert Perreault, and I know how much it meant to him. And it was just an exciting moment. And it was a great accomplishment for him that he surpassed Jean Beliveau, one of the greatest players in the game before him, to break a record that he had set, and it was a personal milestone. And I know how much it meant to Gilbert, and it meant so much to me that I'll never forget it.
There's that great photo of you two with the puck.
Yeah,
it's a great photo.
No, it's an exciting moment for sure. They're both from the same hometown, and Jean Beliveau ruled the roost, I guess, for so many years. And I think Gilbert realized that he had just surpassed Jean Beliveau in that moment, and now he was king of the jungle and back in their hometown.
Wow.
I want to ask you the last question for you. You played in the NHL from 79-80 to 93-94. You now have two boys playing in the NHL, as I mentioned earlier when we chatted, Marcus and Nick. I know you've worked in the game and all of that stuff, but how has the athlete changed from your last year, 93-94, to today with the way your kids are with training and nutrition and how they spend their summers?
Well, I think, the biggest thing that we keep hearing from so many different people is, it's almost a 365-day-a-year job now. We could actually shut the game down in the summertime. When the season was over, we'd go back to wherever we were or, just go back to the off-season and kind of enjoy the first couple months. But you can't do that anymore because the competition is right back at it. So if the competition is the opponents are doing that much extra, then you've got to do that much extra to stay in the same league, in the same ballpark as these guys, because that compete level just rises. Every year I think all of us do the same thing. We watch the playoffs, and we're part of the playoffs, and then you say to yourself, there's no way that hockey can be better than this. And then the next year rolls around, and it is. And it seems like every year it gets more and more exciting, more and more competitive. And I think it's because of the dedication of the players, their commitment to physical, the physicality in the sense of conditioning, and also an incredible focus of using their skills and talents to the highest level possible. And not only that, but now you have more players on the team that have that skill set. And in the old days, there was maybe a couple guys on the team that were really highly skilled. But now you have a lot more players on that team with incredible skills. And I think that really makes it for the greatest game in the world.
Hey, it is the greatest game in the world, and you're going to be on the ice for the home opener tomorrow night. One of the 14 captains returning. Well-deserved. Thank you for your time today. Enjoy tomorrow night. And I'm sure you're going to get a nice, warm reception from the fans, and all the best. We'll see you around for sure.
Well, thanks, guys. And Andrew and Craig, thank you very much for the time, and looking forward to it tomorrow night. And, congratulations to the team for winning the first one, and good luck to them in that second game.
Hey, get your Hudson Bay blankets out because winter's coming up there in Sudbury.
We're already wearing them.
I know you have a Hudson Bay blanket somewhere in that house of yours. Thank you very much for your time. Mike Foligno, kind enough to join us today. And